I would have hoped, to be honest, that lending would pick up sooner than it did. In our planning, lending would have already picked up earlier, and as we have seen, the whole market is still not very positive on lending. However, I still see possibilities and opportunities. Actually, our new volumes in Raiffeisen in the first quarter have picked up to the year before. That's something we can see. And there are some sectors which show already some signs of growth in both the corporate and retail areas. But it's not strong enough to overcompensate the maturing loans. And that is something that I would probably see later on this year on the corporate side, as more segments of the economy, not just the pure export segments, but a few others, agriculture related, etc., will grow faster than they have done in the past. So I think there will be a pickup, and I do believe that banks who focus on the customer side will really be able to start showing some additional growth patterns. So that will happen. I'm very confident. The question is how fast and to what extent. But I am confident that there will be some growth in the area. However, as we said before, in the retail side, on the mortgage side, if the moratorium is not lifted, then the chances are not very high. And even if it is lifted, it will take time. So here I'm a bit more pessimistic on the retail side, because also the people are still shocked from the crisis and are not really willing to take a lot of additional debt on. So that will take more time until 2012, but still opportunities are there. You have to work first on the existing client base, because it's always easier to work with your existing clients. And we also have among our existing client base a lot of very good customers with whom we want to strengthen the relationship, be it both on retail and on the corporate side. So that is the first focus, is always your existing customer base. So it's not totally different than before. However, clearly those customers that have become non-performing are not the ones you want to continue working with on the lending side, specifically not. And therefore there is a tendency on retail for all the banks to move more to the medium and higher income segments, which you could say maybe don't need as much lending as the lower ones, but where the risk is lower to the banks. And the banks have to obviously take care of their risk policies and have to be more prudent than they were before. There is no doubt about it. So there is a slight shift, obviously, to different segments on the retail side and also on corporate. As you know, real estate, construction sector are still in a problematic situation, and therefore banks have certain portfolio limits that they have to keep in place from a risk perspective. But still there are good opportunities, even within those different and difficult segments. And this is where I see the opportunities, that those banks who are not just saying in this sector everything is bad and therefore I don't touch it, but you pick out the right customers and the right transactions where from a risk perspective it still makes sense. And that is something where I believe you see opportunities even in real estate segments today. Obviously, I would prefer to do even more lending in local currency. In many other countries in Central and Eastern Europe, the interest differential is not as big as it is still here. And therefore, there is still, on the corporate side specific, but even on retail, people would prefer to get a foreign currency loan because of the interest differential. There, I think in most other countries, we still, we try to do more in local currency lending, and that is a big difference, because then, you have to add here the additional risk premium for the exchange rate risk, and therefore there is still this difference in the Hungarian market. And since the Hungarian market, as we discussed in this conference even earlier, you have the problem of the overall non-performing loan status and the banking tax together, that does have a negative impact. So you're tending to be a bit more cautious maybe than with the others, but in essence it's the same risk policies that we have in place.